Welcome to this video dedicated to ABB Building Ana-lyzer. In this video, we will look at configuration using Aspect Studio. Once you have logged in, click Cloud Organizations List. Select an existing organization from the list or create a new organization. Enter the organization name and address and save. Click Sites. Click Create Site. Enter the site name and address. As well as time zone and GPS coordinates. You may need to look up these coordinates on an external maps application and copy and paste them here, ensuring the decimal point is in the right place. Be sure these are accurate, as they will be used to retrieve local weather data. Finally, click Save Location. Now let's perform Aspect configuration. Click Building Editor, then click Building Ana-lyzer. Under the drop-down menu here, select Aspect Configuration. Click Create Aspect Configuration. Enter the name of the configuration and select the installation location. Then click Save. This generates a UUID and a host address. You will need to copy and paste these into Aspect Studio. Let's open up an Aspect Studio project to see how to select the data points to display in Building Ana-lyzer. First, set up the push service block. Right-click Applications and select New Application. Name the application. Now, right-click the new application and select Show Diagram Window. To configure the block, click the Mobile Map tab. Then locate the block named Active Energy Push Service. Click the block, and then click the canvas to create the block. Go back to the portal to copy the UUID. Then in Aspect Studio, click the block and paste the UUID into this field under the Basic tab. This creates the link between the instance created in the cloud and the physical device on site. Let's look at the other properties under the Basic tab. The push interval indicates how often in minutes the Aspect controller pushes data to the cloud. By default, it is set to 15 minutes, but you may adjust this as needed. Also, take note of the service name, which we will need later when we configure each data point we want to send to the cloud. The time base indicates how often in seconds the Aspect controller pulls the Modbus devices on site to request a value. By default, it is set to every 5 seconds, but if we want to reduce traffic on the network, we can set a higher value to slow it down. Finally, the trend interval indicates how often in minutes data is logged in Aspect Studio before being pushed to the cloud. By default, it is set to 15 minutes, but it can be set to match the minimum data interval displayed in Building Ana-lyzer. Now go back to the portal and copy the host address. Then in Aspect Studio, click the Expert tab and paste the address in the corresponding field. Here we may also want to adjust the debug level, which is at 0 by default. 71 is a good value to set here in order to view information on push service block activity, and maybe some failures as well. Once you have configured the push service block, you can configure the data points to be pushed to Building Ana-lyzer. To do this, click Map. Then under Controllers, locate the data points to push. Click a data point, then click the Expert tab. Make sure the property detail level is set to at least medium. Locate the lines Push Services and Push Services Data. The value for Push Services must be identical to the service name of the application created earlier. The Push Services Data field is where you assign a unique numeric identifier to the data point. The format is the service name followed by the equals sign, then a number. We recommend beginning at 1000 and working up from there. Repeat the process for all the data points to push to Building Ana-lyzer. To speed up this process, right-click the parent of the data points and select Edit Children. Select the properties to edit. Then click Add Selected. Include name, push services, and push services data. Click OK. Click the Expert tab. Now you can view these properties for all the data points and modify them all at once. Hold down the Shift key, then select All Rows. Then, right-click the column to edit. Enter the value to assign to all rows. Click the column title to sort and check for any duplicates or missing values. Once finished, click Done. Once you have configured all data points, click Targets and click Aspect. Then click Deploy to Target to deploy the configuration down to the Aspect controller. Finally, right-click Map and select Export Excel. Save the Excel file on your computer. Now come back to the portal and click Data Log Details. Here, upload the map configuration file you have just saved. This imports the data points to which the identifiers were assigned and displays them here. This is where you configure the data points further by indicating their types of measurement, data log, and location. Each data point can be configured separately, or you can select several meters to define a specific value to all of them. To review the settings of a data point, click Edit. Select the meter type that corresponds to the data configuration on your Aspect controller. Once you have finished configuring the data points, click Save. Then go back to Aspect Configuration. Click the top right menu and select Energy Configuration. Here you can drag and drop the data points from the site tree, the ones configured in Aspect, to the Energy Management tree, the one displayed in Building Ana-lyzer. Consult the video on completing integration to find out how to do this. If you fail to see data in Building Ana-lyzer, after completing configuration, you can download the log files to try to understand why. Log into your Aspect controller, click Utilities, then click System Information. Select Active Energy Push Status. Here you can see details about the service. Click the Pushes tab to see if the data push was successful or not. Click Log Files. Click Zip All to download the log files to see what is happening. You can also click Live Logs to find out what is currently happening with the push service.